Reach in that tree and see what happens. Do you see what I see? No critters snatched it or bit my fingers. Hi, I'm Nick Shell. We're about to talk about hair loss, as we always do. This is a comment on a video I made called Balding Hairline versus Receding Hairline. What do others see? Now, Robert left a comment, and let me tell you something about Robert. He's an expert on hair loss as far as classifying what is Norwood, balding, receding. He can help sort through and give you the textbook answers on that, whereas I, not so much. Mine is more of how do people see it? How do I see it? How do I perceive it? How do you perceive it? How does the rest of the world perceive it? Robert's going to give you the textbook answer, so we need to listen to what he has to say. Here's what Robert says. Quote, I wouldn't classify Norwood 1 or 2 as a receding hairline. Certainly not 1. That's a juvenile or adolescent hairline like Ronald Reagan. Norwood 2 is loosely regarded as a mature or adult hairline by many, not all hair loss specialists. It's receded a bit, but not receding unless the person with Norwood 2 has thinning going on by the mature point. Then early male pattern baldness would be the likely diagnosis. I agree though, the general public doesn't recognize balding or recession until the hairline really gets slapped backwards quite a ways. The island is usually the first point in which it's obvious, end quote. So again, the main point of that is a lot of my people watching my channel surprisingly are not close to my age. Most people watching my channel, especially the ones who comment, are actually at least half my age. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That seems to be the range where I get the most feedback as far as guys saying, hey, here's the changes I'm noticing. Am I losing my hair? You know, and the thing is though, with Norwood 1 and 2, neither of those are considered balding, right? Right, Robert? So Norwood 3 and beyond, or like Robert said, or unless there's some major thinning, because you could be Norwood 2. I saw a guy yesterday, it was the weirdest thing. He had like a Norwood 1, but his hair was so, is it called diffuse thinning? That it was like he might as well just shave his head because there was hardly any hair there, but you could see his hairline. It was the weirdest thing. So unless there's major thinning going on, if you're Norwood 1 or 2, you're not considered going through the balding process like I am. Norwood 3, we've got the letter M going on, and we've got some thinning. I'm definitely in the balding process, but I think most people who are watching my videos are in the first signs of hair loss, and they're thinking, am I going to be losing my hair? And the thing is, we can't know until you get to Norwood 3. You haven't really crossed that line yet. If you're still Norwood 1 or 2, you could remain that way for most of your life. You could remain that way for another decade. And that was the case for me. I mean, I think it'd be around 19 or 20 that I became Norwood 2, and I remained that way for about a decade. It was age 30 when I officially crossed Norwood 3, when I noticed not only some thinning here, but the what I like to call the 90-degree angles turn into arches. So I held on to Norwood 2 for a decade, you know, and it's funny because right now I was like, okay, can I hold on to Norwood 3 for a decade, you know, and I'll know in like 3 or 4 years when I turn 40. I'm 36 now, so, you know, that may be how it goes. And I've submitted that theory before, saying, what if every decade I go through a new Norwood, you know? That could be the case, but none of us can know. It's an unpredictable thing for the most part, as far as knowing how long you're going to be able to keep that Norwood. And I have theories I like to share with you on this channel, but ultimately, even I don't know. I mean, because I know that when the first time I saw a picture and thought, okay, definitely I've moved on to a new level of my hair loss, was when and I've showed you the picture on the video, there are a couple of videos I made last week talking about being a vegan and trying to figure out, has that slowed down my hair loss at all? And you saw the black and white like photo strip of my wife and I at the photo booth in Sacramento. In that, you can see how high it goes up, but arguably it hasn't changed since then. And but anyway, I think was I 31 in that picture? Yeah, that had to have been right. And so that for me is when I officially saw that it had changed there. But has it really changed since then? It can be a stop and go thing. So, but officially, Norwood 1, Norwood 2, that may just be you leaving puberty and becoming an adult. And this is what Robert has to say about it. So, if you see Robert comment, always read Robert's comment. I fully endorse what he has to say as far as classifying hairlines. He's the expert. I'm more of the poet, and I'm looking at beyond that. And I am glad to see that Robert agrees with my assessment that even if we become experts like Robert and know exactly how Norwood works and all this stuff, and balding versus receding, even if we know all that, ultimately Robert agrees with me that it's ultimately up to society's perception of us as they look at our hairlines. But then I even say beyond that, you can still distract them by being the cool guy, the helpful guy, the smart guy. All those things that have nothing to do with your hairline, in the real world, beyond high school, I have learned is what actually matters. I'm Nick Shell, and all I ever talk about is hair loss. And I didn't press the button. It could have been an even 6 minutes had I done it right. It's just the touch screen. Let me get this.